Right now what I'm going to discuss is a basic trauma kit that you need to save a person's life, whether it's your life, a coworker's life, a family member's life. And these don't have to be complicated, they don't have to be expensive at all. First thing that we want to do, we want to start out with some sort of carrying device, whether it's a small bag or a medium-sized bag like this one or a larger bag. Something that can identify this has medical equipment in it. Once you have that, very simply, all we have to do is fill them with these. This is a trauma kit made for one person, or depending on how the equipment is utilized, potentially two people, that it could save somebody's life if it came down to it. What's in that kit is a SWAT T tourniquet. Comes packaged like this. And on the inside, this is what it looks like. It's a flat rubber band, very cost effective. These are about $10 a piece, and it has multi-functions. You can use it as a pressure bandage to hold gauze in place. You can use it as a sling to hold a limb in place. You can use it as a tourniquet. You can also use it to hold ice or to brace limbs against itself in the event that there's a break. Now on here, you'll see an oval, and once that oval is completely stretched to where it makes a circle, that indicates that it's a tourniquet. So it's very easy to use, and again, very inexpensive, and has a lot of functions that you can use with it. Next is compression gauze, absolute must. Gotta have some sort of gauze, Curlex, some sort of cotton material that we can use to stuff into wounds, and then also apply pressure and make an actual bandage out of it, which there'll be a video on that in the coming slides. Next, we have an actual pressure bandage, and it looks like this, where it actually has an absorbent pad that you place directly on the wound, and again, a long tail that's elastic that we can wrap and stretch and create a pressure bandage with this. It also has a pair of emergency shears. It's important to be able to cut away clothes, equipment, things like that, to go ahead and see what the wound is and how do we need to treat that. And it's got 2 pairs of gloves inside the kit. Again, very inexpensive. This entire kit with all the contents, about $35. So there's no excuse not to have this in your car, in your office, in your desk drawer, at school, in your backpack, in your purse. What if you're at the mall and an incident happens? Wouldn't it be great to have something like this? You could potentially save a life or potentially save your own life. Okay, so we've talked about what a basic trauma kit is and the expense, again, roughly around $35. What if you don't have that? What can we do? Well, there's a lot of alternatives that we can use. So the biggest thing is we want to make sure we have a tourniquet, right? Remember we had that SWAT T tourniquet. Well, everybody generally wears a belt, whether it's a woman's belt, man's belt, doesn't matter. A belt can be actually used as a tourniquet. Now, when using a belt for a tourniquet, it's important that we just don't put it through the buckle and pull, but we actually loop it on itself and use that and then twist at the top, all right? But a belt is perfectly suitable, can be used as a tourniquet. When it comes to tourniquets and belts, there's a general rule, 2 to 3 fingers of width, all right? So as you can see, this belt meets the 3-finger width, and that's what helps. People like to say, I'll use a shoelace for a tourniquet. A shoelace won't work. That'll actually just, it'll cause more damage than it'll actually help. So you want something 2 to 3 fingers of width. What else do we have? We have briefcases, right? Women's purses, men's bags. They all come with straps. Could we use this as a tourniquet? Absolutely. Does it meet the 2-finger rule? Absolutely. So again, something else we can use to potentially stop somebody from bleeding to death. Woman's scarf. Women's scarf can be used as a sling, could be used as bandage material, could also be used as a tourniquet if properly applied. Again, they're long. We could definitely make it the 2-finger width, 2 to 3 finger width, and then tie it down and stop somebody from bleeding to death. Men's ties, depending on, might not work on a leg, but on an arm, absolutely. Could it work on a child? Absolutely. Again, could be a quick tourniquet device. Men's shirts, yeah, absolutely. Take the arms, wrap this up, use it, tie it around a limb, crank it down. Do we have a tourniquet? Yes. Is it cotton material, which is blood absorbent? Yes. When it comes to using clothing for bandage material, we want to make sure we stay away from nylons and polyesters, as in they don't absorb blood the way cotton does. We always want to make sure that we use cotton. And the last part is feminine hygiene products. What are these actually used for, if you think about it? So there's not a whole lot of material in here, but is it something better than nothing? Absolutely. When it comes to using other materials other than proper medical aid, don't worry about infections. The first thing that they're going to do as soon as the patient gets to the hospital is they're going to be given antibiotics anyway. So if it's clean, dirty, I mean, obviously we don't want something soaked in mud before applying, but if it's the shirt off your back and you've been sweating all day, use it, because you could potentially save that person's life. If they get an infection, at least they're still alive. That can be cured. But bleeding to death, that's the end game. All right. So there are alternatives to having actual medical equipment. So don't think that just because I don't have proper medical aids, equipment, that, oh well, you're given one choice. You're just going to let the person die or let yourself die. Think outside the box and think about other alternatives.